On the show, in Wheelspin, we drive the recently launched Hyundai Creta. In Launchpad, we have a look at the Figo Aspire as Ford launches it. On the road with Fiat, we drive the Avventura to Kaas Plateau in Satara district. If you go back in time to 2012, you will recall that a little-known company and an even lesser-known product, the Renault Duster, changed the way we Indians looked at the SUV market here. The Renault Duster, of course, went on to become one of the biggest successes of the Indian market. But times are a-changing, as they say, and now is the turn of the big guys, the Maruti and the Hyundai, the number 1 and 2 player in the Indian market, to come up with compact SUVs and fill in that same space. Maruti launched the S-Cross and Hyundai the Creta here. Creta, a little strange name for a car, isn't it? And people with a little more malicious sense of humor have added prefixes and suffixes to make it sound even funnier. But well, I'm not that sort of a guy, so I will just call it the Creta. The compact SUV segment has got a big impetus with the launch of the Hyundai Creta as well as the Maruti S-Cross, because these are new generation compact SUVs which look better and offer more features than the existing offerings like the Renault Duster, which have decidedly started looking dated. The Creta here isn't exactly a new car or a new platform. In fact, it has existed in China as the iX25 and hugely successful there. What Hyundai has done is to bring the entire car here, and now they're assembling it in their Chennai plant. But most of the parts, including the engine, are carryovers from other Hyundai models. And in terms of design too, it's a carryover from the famous Fluidic Sculpture design of Hyundai. But this car now looks a bit dated, and it doesn't really have that wow factor that the initial Fluidic Sculpture designs like the Verna and the i20 had. But still, the car looks pleasant enough, and it comes packed with features which has been the USP of Hyundai for many, many years now. If you do decide to buy the Creta, what you get with it is a choice of engines. A petrol engine and 2 diesels, a 1.4 as well as this 1.6 litre engine. And the good part is that this engine here, the 1.6 especially, is really a refined unit. In terms of the noise and vibration, you don't really hear much of it if you're driving or cruising on the highway. The 1.6 litre unit here churns out 128 PS and 260 Newton meters of torque. I feel the torque should have been a little higher considering the fact that this is a 1.6 litre engine, but then the extra BHPs sort of compensate for that. So if you're on the highway and you are cruising, well, you will get to a very nice, decent cruising speed. Okay, this is not one of the fastest cars around. You get to the 100-kilometer mark in about 13 seconds, which makes it very, very reasonable in terms of performance if you measure it along the lines of speeds. And in fact, I'm going to stick my neck out here a little bit and say this is possibly one of the best diesel engines that I have driven, which comes from Hyundai. If you go back in time, you will recall that Hyundai engines were hardly smooth or refined. In fact, on the contrary, they appeared quite harsh and noisy, and the gearbox too went really the best. But in this car, what you get is an engine which is refined, which is smooth, and above all, it's also fuel efficient. It gives you over 19 kilometers to a litre according to ARAI, and in real life, you'll probably get somewhere around 13-14 kilometers, which really isn't bad, especially if you compare it to the sedans. So if you're looking to trade your sedan and get into an SUV, all I can tell you is that your fuel bill is not really going to go up that much, because the fuel efficiency that you get in the Creta is very, very comparable to what you would get in a sedan this size. With this 1.6 litre engine, you also get a choice of transmission, a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic. In fact, this combination of engines, 3 engines and 2 transmission, in fact 6-speed automatic and a 5-speed one in the 1.4 diesel, gives you quite a range. And if you're a buyer, you can actually choose according to your requirements. In fact, I think this is a big advantage for the Creta, that you get choice of engines, you get choice of transmissions, and you get lots of variants, which unlike its competition will give you a lot of choice to choose from too. In terms of the suspension setup, you will find that this Creta, unlike many other Hyundais, is set up a little stiffer, which means that the ride is somewhat harder. But then that means that the handling too has improved quite a bit, again unlike most Hyundais. And this Creta here holds the road quite well, rides on 16-inch wheels, which gives it a lot of stability on the highways, and in fact it stays quite planted. But in terms of drivability, the Creta really scores, because what you get here is a very light clutch and a light steering wheel, which does manage to give you plenty of feedback in fact. Overall, I think the Creta here really drives well, and in fact it is one of the best driving Hyundais ever.
Hyundai might call the Creta an SUV, but the fact is that without the option of a 4x4, no vehicle can lay claims to be a true off-roader, and the same is the case with the Creta as well. Armed with a high 190mm ground clearance, she does manage the bumps and the potholes rather well. But once you leave the tarmac and think of serious off-roading, the lack of an all-wheel drive will surely urge you to change your mind and make you realize that sticking to the tarmac is a much safer option.
When you step inside the Creta here, you will be pleasantly surprised to find that it actually offers you a whole lot more than what other compact SUVs in the market are doing these days. In fact, makes you feel that you have stepped into a car which is actually one segment above. It looks quite premium, and as I said earlier, it's full of features. A nice touchscreen here which will give you all the info that you need. It has a reverse parking camera, and the steering wheel in this trim is leather wrapped, and of course comes with very useful multifunction buttons here. And it has plenty of storage space as well. Cup holders, a little tray here, the glove box here is big enough, and in fact the door pockets here are also big enough not only to hold a full 1-litre bottle of water, but also other knickknacks as well. Overall, this exudes a real feel of luxury and comfort.
The Hyundai Creta, especially the top variant, is one machine which will offer you almost all the features you expect, and some you don't, like a fully automatic aircon system with cluster ionizer, smart key with push start button, and a sound system with 1 GB memory and 6 speakers.
If you live with the Creta, you'll soon discover that like many other cars, this one too comes with its own set of idiosyncrasies. Firstly, when you start driving off, the first thing that you notice is the radio coming on by itself, which shouldn't be the case. Secondly, the doors don't lock themselves. You have to in fact press this button to lock the doors. And then when you stop and switch off the engines, these mirrors here don't fold by themselves. You have to press this switch here to make them unfold. This really should not be the case in a car in this segment, and car loaded with so many features. In fact, the company tells you that the headlights come with a follow me function. But in strict sense of the term, it's not a follow me lamp, because what really happens is that there is an additional light which does light up when you are turning the corner, illuminating the corner, which is a very useful feature. But in the case of follow me lamps, what really happens is that the lamps actually swivel. But this is not happening in this car. The Creta here isn't really a big car. She measures in at a little over 4.2 meters, has a wheelbase of close to 2.6 meters. So the big question on everybody's mind is, does she have enough space? And the answer here is Yes, she does. There's plenty of knee room, enough shoulder room, and following Hyundai's tall boy design philosophy, has plenty of headroom as well. So overall, the seating here is quite comfortable. And to top all that, she also brings in a touch of practicality. The door pockets with bottle holders, a 12-volt socket here, rear AC vents, an armrest with additional bottle holders. All this is sure to make your life a whole lot comfortable on a long ride.
Hyundai has paid special attention to occupant safety in the Creta, and the car sits on what the company calls the hive structure to reinforce body strength and uses high-quality material like ultra-high tensile steel to give the body rigidity, and the top variant comes with 6 airbags.
As far as safety is concerned, there is both good news as well as bad news as far as this Creta is concerned. The good news first, and that is if you buy this top trim, you get everything in terms of safety: ABS, EBD, traction control, hill assist, and of course 6 airbags. The bad news is that if you buy the base variant, you don't even get 2 airbags. And I think at this price point, Hyundai would have done well to have at least included some airbags in the car. The Creta here has really upped the game as far as compact SUVs go. She looks reasonably good, has plenty of space, offers lots of features, and of course an engine which drives really well, is smooth, refined and fuel efficient as well. On top of that, Hyundai offers you a choice of engines, a petrol and 2 diesels, plus 2 transmissions, an automatic as well as a manual. So overall, I think the package looks real good. And the base price starts at rupees 8.6 lakhs for the base petrol, stretches all the way up to rupees 13.5 lakhs for the diesel automatic. And this is where my disagreement with Hyundai starts. I think the Creta is a bit overpriced, especially the base petrol, which doesn't even come with basic safety features like an airbag.
The Creta is priced at rupees 8.6 lakhs for the base petrol variant, and the diesel base variant starts at rupees 9.47 lakh, while as the top of the line automatic with a diesel 1.6 litre engine is priced at rupees 13.58 lakh. And it also comes with the best in class 3-year warranty with unlimited mileage, which is a great offer as far as boosting customer confidence is concerned. Ford India launched their sub-4-meter compact called the Figo Aspire this week to add to the growing number of compact sedans in the Indian market. The Figo Aspire will be assembled in Ford's new plant in Sanand, Gujarat, and locally produced here. The Figo Aspire is powered by a 1.5-litre diesel engine and a petrol variant with 2 engines, a 1.2-litre and a bigger 1.5-litre mated to an automatic transmission. Ford has priced the Figo Aspire competitively with the base petrol starting at rupees 4.89 lakh, while the base diesel is priced at rupees 5.9 lakhs, and the top-end automatic petrol will cost almost around rupees 7.8 lakh.
There's no time like the monsoon to venture out on a road trip, especially if you're based in Mumbai, because the rain turns much of interior Maharashtra lush and green, and so the drives are more scenic than ever. Today, I'm headed to the Satara district in southern Maharashtra, which I believe is breathtakingly green at this time of year. And to take me there, I have the stunning Fiat Avventura, a car that's equal parts ruggedness and sophistication. And I can't help but admire the exterior. It's ultra cool and sporty looking, and I have a feeling it's going to be the best travel companion I could ask for. Let's roll! Fiat launched the Avventura last year to provide its customers with a car that unites the comfort of a sedan-like drive with the practicality of features normally associated with an SUV, like high ground clearance. But I have to say, I'm already really liking what I've seen of this car. The interiors definitely reflect an attention to detail. I like the orange ambient lighting. It gives the car a nice young, fun feel, which obviously complements the orange of the exterior of this car as well. The seats are really comfortable. It's a nice, spacious car. All in all, so far, I'm already falling in love. Now it's time to see how it drives.
The Kaas Plateau in the small town of Kaas, which is my first stop as I explore the Satara region, is about a 6-hour drive from Mumbai and about 2.5 hours from Pune. Yet it's still something of a secret. Other than those local to the region, not that many people seem to know about it, even though it's recently been named a UNESCO Biodiversity Heritage Site.
The variant I'm driving today is the 1.3-litre diesel, and it churns out 93 brake horsepower with a fuel efficiency of 20.5 kilometers for every litre. Now, that makes me really happy because often on these long trips, you can end up spending a fortune on fuel if your car is a guzzler. I'm also really impressed with the air conditioning and the sound. It's nice and cool in here, and my music sounds great.
We're getting close to Satara, soon to approach the Kaas Plateau. The drive has been a scenic one. You're surrounded by lush greenery along much of the way, and the Avventura is handling the rugged terrain beautifully.
I've arrived at the Kaas Plateau, and it is quite literally a sea of green. And as you can tell, because it's a biodiversity heritage site, the grasslands have been cordoned off so as to protect the plant species held within. Now, it happens to be that I've come here a little bit early. The flowers aren't yet in full bloom, but I can tell that this plateau truly turns into a magical natural canvas, replete with foliage and flora. I've seen a few buds here and there. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing that huge flower field that I'd hoped to see. But the weather is so beautiful, the air is so fresh, it's gorgeous and green, so I really have little to complain about.
Apparently, the plateau gets its name from a tree also called Kaas, and locally the region is called Kaas Plateau.
The beautiful views of the valley and the town in the distance. Two of my favorite things about driving in hill stations in India are that you're greeted by these spectacular views on every corner, and you're also greeted by little shops where you can buy some locally made chikki, another of my great weaknesses. So I thought I'd take a little break here, enjoy the view and enjoy a little snack. Kaas Lake, which is in the southern part of the plateau, and as you can see, it's a popular spot for local people to come and enjoy the monsoon weather. Today is such a foggy day and the air is cool and refreshing. The lake just looks almost like it's disappearing into the horizon with the mist. You can't really tell the difference between the sky and the water. It's really surreal. I feel like I'm in some sort of enchanted fairy tale. I've just begun the climb up to Sajjangarh Fort, and apparently this place is actually a pilgrimage site. It's dotted with these little shrines all along the way up, and it's a short little hike, so I'm looking forward to seeing what lies at the top.
Sajjangarh Fort is a place closely associated with Ramdas Swami, the spiritual master and guru of King Shivaji, and therefore considered a holy site.
Sajjangarh Fort is in fact a spiritual community. It's a small village up there, not just a fort. In fact, the only part that really resembles a fort architecturally is the entry and the viewing area. The rest of it is an ashram, there's a small temple, and there's a thriving spiritual community.
A 10-kilometer drive from Sajjangarh Fort are the Thosegar waterfalls, apparently cascades that run for over 1,000 feet and supposedly a spectacular sight. It's set amidst lush green wilderness. Let's check it out.
Heading down the walkway to the Thosegar Falls, I've learnt a new word. It's the Marathi word for waterfall, dhabdhaba. And I think that's such a perfect word because it captures the sound of the water falling just so accurately. I can already hear the dhabdhaba in the distance. Check out the magnificent Thosegar Falls. These are some of the highest falls in the region, and the sight and sound of the water thundering down the valley amidst the greenery is truly exhilarating. I've had such a fun time discovering the Satara district. From the greenery of the Kaas Plateau to the quaint Sajjangarh Fort to the absolutely beautiful Thosegar Falls, this trip has been truly enjoyable, and all the more so because I've had the fantastic Fiat Avventura at my disposal, and it's a car that packs luxury, comfort and style all together without being a stranger to the outdoors. It's really been a wonderful travel companion, and I'm enjoying myself so much that I'm actually going to continue to explore this region. So do join me again next week as I share with you some more of the beauty that interior Maharashtra has to offer in the monsoon.